welcome once again to The Sage. Thank you for having been with us. Oh, but it's been quite a journey. We've had a wonderful discussion and we're learning so much and also amazed at what these gentlemen from Afikpo Secondary School have been able to still continue to do for the school. But we've come to what we think is the crux of the matter. We've talked about the decay in our secondary schools and the huge burden that it remains for, knowing that governments cannot do it alone. They have been working for years, but they have recently decided to be even more proactive in support to the institution. And so after the convention they held in October recently of 2022, they are working on concrete, tangible ways in which sustained support can be provided to the school to ensure that the young children there who are having the privilege of going through that institution indeed come out fully equipped with the best education that is possible. And so in excitement, we turn to them because we need it. We need it in every secondary school in Nigeria. What is it you're concretely going to do? You've renovated and maintained infrastructure. What next?
Yeah, thank you. Everybody knows that it's a huge burden on government to run schools now, and the old boys appreciate that. Luckily, we have a governor that is also an old boy who has demonstrated his goodwill, so to speak, and commitment to the fortunes of the school. Mm-hmm. And so the old boys have indicated interest to partner with government and in the running of the school. It's a loose arrangement for now. But what I can tell you is that in the process, the old boys, both at home and in diaspora, have a committee that has worked on this project for over a year.
Wow.
And they have submitted various reports. At the point we are now, we needed to have a common point of contact with government. And so a legacy project has been established with a board of trustees and a memorandum of understanding to tidy up the loose ends of this project has been submitted to Ebonyi State government.
Okay.
I must also tell you that during the homecoming, the singular request the old boys had from government was that government should action the memorandum of understanding that has been submitted. So it is very dear to the Old Boys Association. At this stage, it may be a little difficult to give it a name, but it's something like the Old Boys working towards taking over the management of the school. This will include, because I know you're going to ask.
Yeah, I'm waiting to ask you.
This will include, of course, admission process.
Okay.
Because what you're getting is mostly what you get out. So
rubbish out.
If you're not admitting students based on performance, of course, we are sensitive to catchment area and things like that. There will be some consideration. But if the bulk of the admitted students are high-end performers, they also pull up any other people that were admitted based on other considerations. So the admission process is important. then the quality of instruction is important, because that is translated directly from the kind of teachers and how you remunerate them, the package for the staff. So we want to go back to what it used to be. It's not going to be a one-day event, and it's something that is a process, is a gradual process. And it also fits into what is happening in other areas. We know that our brother school, our sister school, Umuahia, has already, the old boys have taken over the school. I think they had their first admission last year.
Last September.
Last September.
Okay.
Under this new arrangement.
Yeah, their own was more aggressive because they took it over completely. We know that government secondary school, government college Ibadan is in the process. We know that
the boys have also.
Yes, I think they were in the news recently.
Yes,
they also had a big meeting.
Yeah, we know that Igbobi College, several schools, because this thing is a burden on government, and so you find out that the attention that schools should receive to perform optimally is not really there. So if the old boys can come in, and it will be a lot easier. And then in our own case, this is like a prepared site because the infrastructure is already there.
Let me just add the fact that it's really, at the end of the day, an issue of resource. Everybody is beginning to wise up to the fact that we have to get serious in laying the foundation stone to train the manpower this country needs. And I must commend our governor, His Excellency, Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State, who are the owners of the school, for his being in the forefront of these changes. It's about resource. When Anambra State handed over the mission schools to the founding missions, what the schools achieved was an expansion of their funding source. So they not only still received grants from the state government, but the missions also began to invest along with alumni and the parent teachers associations of the various schools. So when you go to these schools today, after 4 years of, no more than 4 years, it's almost 6 years for some of these institutions like CKC Onitsha, QRC Onitsha, DMGS Onitsha. Oh, it's a totally changed place because they have so much more money. The governments, both federal and states, do not have the resources to fund these institutions. That is the honest truth. And
that's why it has to be a collective effort.
That is what Governor Mahi has also realized and is moving aggressively to begin to make it happen in schools in Ebonyi State. The state has handed over mission schools in Ebonyi State to the missions. Now they are moving to the next step, working towards handing over, schools that are not mission to the alumni, like ours, that have shown so much.
That have shown
so
real
much
interest.
Yeah,
and commitment.
And capacity.
Absolutely.
So for government secondary school Afikpo, the grants from the state government will continue to come. Alumni will ramp up its investments in the school, clearly. But most importantly, for us, the alumni, and I'm about to let the cat out of the bag a little bit in this regards, the plans to tap endowments and non-profits for funding for that school, it's in a very advanced stage.
Development partners.
And I see,
Okay.
it's
So you will be competing with us non-profits for that.
Yes.
and I see a situation where GSSA will become co-ed. Because why should you leave girls out of
How did you read my mind? I was beginning to worry a little that this is an all-male school, and where are our daughters and granddaughters in this scheme of things?
It's these are thoughts. We are sharing thoughts, and like I told you, we already have a board of trustees for the legacy project.
You called it, yes, you said a
Yes,
legacy.
it's a legacy
so
project.
it's again that future thing.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
legacy project, and there's a board of trustees that would husband the prospects. Because you see, we have the alumni in diaspora, we have the alumni here with branches and all that, and you can't have people speaking in different tongues with government. Government needs us to have a central point to
Of interface.
of interface in this project. So the old boys went back, set up the legacy project, appointed a board of trustees. We make suggestions to them, like what he just mentioned. I mean, there are thoughts we've shared with the board of trustees. And when we hunt down the animals, so to speak, that's when we get the approval to move on with this project, then we'll begin to put these thoughts in place, because girl education, of course, we all know how important it is.
Let me say yes, I see the logic in the sequence you have described. But let me say that a great deal of thought also has to happen even now. Because in terms of how will it work, at the moment your people, discrete individuals, old boys, all of you, but with your own lives and your own business and busy schedules. To me, from my management experience, it looks as if you're going to need a core group more lower than a board of trustees.
Definitely.
That would actually be looking at collaboration in the day-to-day management. You talked about admission, you talked about teachers, their quality, and so on and so forth, their motivation, their emoluments, and so on and so forth. So many normal, routine things need to happen, to my mind.
Yes, I will share my thoughts on that with you.
Yeah.
And these are privileged thoughts because I'm a member of the board of trustees. And so the first thing you may be looking at is to hire a quality manager for the school. That's the principal, what you call a principal for the school. And then the principal, of course, will be involved in the process of recruiting.
Don't they have a principal already?
No, the principal is appointed by the school management board.
It's a civil servant.
He's a civil servant. We're looking at result-oriented management.
Okay.
Because, when this is now a different ball game, because the principal will have targets.
I will, yeah.
Okay?
If I may come.
Yeah,
If I may come.
Frank.
I mean, we are not going to reinvent the wheel. He mentioned it's happening with missionaries. They run schools. We have private schools, the way they are run. Yes, we recognize this is owned by government. So partnering with government, that structure will be captured in MOU how to be run on a day-to-day basis. The board of trustees will have
I'm happy to hear that MOU that spells out the nitty-gritty.
The nitty-gritty, yeah.
How the relationship will work, okay? Even the process of admission, he also had mentioned recognition of the catchment area. There is,
Bear with me as I harp on these things.
Yes.
It is because we think on the stage here that this is an exciting example that needs to be replicated.
It is.
And therefore, for people who are listening, most of our audience come from a school. I mean, they're like all of us, alumni of somewhere or something.
Yeah.
This is definitely something to be encouraged so that many more of our secondary schools, we can lift them up for the sake of our country, for the sake of our young people. So if I boil down on this nitty gritty, it is to give us the ideas so that people learn from what you have done. So please go ahead.
Yes, so
Yeah.
we are in that process. The national president had mentioned the legacy project, which is a foundation registered by CAC. Okay, the MOU has been submitted. And we've also mentioned that even in our sister school, government secondary school, no more here, they've already taken the same steps and have gone ahead to conduct the first set of entrants under this new arrangement just last September. So it's not like we're inventing the way with our own arrangements.
You're learning from those
It's
who are a
already
bit
in play.
further.
Yeah.
We're only trying to catch up with trends before, so that the students and the government and all the stakeholders in education, particularly with relevance to government secondary school, do not lose out on where the future is moving. That was why the theme of the convention is taking charge of the future.
Of the future.
The future is already unfolding and we need to key in.
We need to take charge of it.
Yes, so that we're not left behind.
We need to take charge of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I had said at the beginning, somewhere in the discussion, that keynote address is almost prophetic.
Yes.
We do indeed, in the history, in our moments in history in this country, need to take charge of the future. Indeed, it has echoed in the call of action, which I have issued repeatedly on the stage. We need to take charge of our future. We must create the change we need. For us, that is the theme of what we do as Conversations for Change and what we're urging the country and everybody to do. And so I thank you, because I think this is an excellent example of creating the change that is so much needed. Our secondary schools, our young people in secondary school remain almost the bedrock of young people that we want to effectively channel into our system in the country. And so what you're doing is so vital. We are turning to our audience out there and saying, this is one example that must be replicated as much as possible. Government can never do it alone. The responsibility is collective. The children are ours. The future of the country belongs to us. It is the future for our children and children unborn.
We've had two different committees. There was a conception committee that conceived the project. There was the implementation committee that wrote the steps, and we had membership both from outside the country, from within the country. And throughout the COVID, we were meeting online. Sometimes late, people in America, when they wake up, we are about to sleep. We meet till late at night.
Okay.
Then we produced a solid document that captured the essence of what we thought the future should be.
Okay.
We pushed it to government. Government, apparently, they took a look at it, but they already had a format for the mission schools they handed over. And so they tried to adapt our thoughts to that document to have an MOU. They returned it to us. We looked at their thoughts. We filled in the parts we felt that missed out crucial things, and we put it back to government. And that's what we are waiting for them to initiate.
That is crucial additional information.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, comes to my mind as I talk to our viewers and as we all learn on this journey together, is that the experience of others who have already started implementing is crucial.
It is.
And there's indeed a lot of information already available, particularly from the experience of handing over schools to missions.
Yes.
And so nobody need worry about reinventing the wheel. I think, to me, as I listen to you, what is coming to my mind is someday, the good Lord willing, there might be an opportunity to bring together a few more of you pioneers in this effort. And therefore, representing different sectors.
Sexes, okay.
Federal government schools, missions, people, and so on, to sit down and share commonalities and share lessons learned, so that others who want to venture can indeed do so. It is crucial. I don't think I'm overflogging the issue when I say that secondary school schooling, education and training is vital.
That's where characters are formed.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
That's the foundation.
That is the foundation.
Can I also add something that government secondary school Afikpo will always remain government secondary school Afikpo, even when it's handed over to the alumni. That will remain the name. So it will never be a private school.
No.
Because when you hear private, you think about very astronomical tuitions. It will never get there. It might remain at where it is now because we, the alumni, will attract so much more funding that we won't need to depend,
solely on the student
on
paying.
tuition. In addition, any kid, any child that passes the entrance is going to be tough because we are trying
Not tough, competitive.
Okay. That passes the entrance to that school will attend that school. That's why we are putting in place the endowment for scholarships to such kids.
So that no matter the financial
financial background,
you get in based on merit.
It's academic.
It shouldn't impede your opportunity
because
to
indeed,
school.
some products of the school benefited from such systems in place.
Yeah, in our days, we remember many of us had scholarships somewhere along the line as we.
So it's going to be in place.
It's academic. We're not going to lose one child, one brilliant child,
because of the child's
because the
background.
parents
Cannot pay.
So that this issue of equality that I had also talked about at the beginning of this program is addressed. So it's
that's why I told you that a lot of work went into it.
Yeah.
We had late nights and inputs from critical stakeholders in this matter. People that looked at the community issues, people that looked at gender issues, people that looked at excellence. And these committees worked over a period and developed a document. Of course, no document is ever
perfect.
all perfect.
Yeah.
But I think they gave it their best shot.
Can I suggest something? Like I had said, two things occurred to me immediately. One is someday we might have the privilege of having a few more of you who are pioneers in this area come sit and discuss your various experiences. So somebody from the mission, somebody, some of the ones that started first, perhaps like Omaya and so on, and we talk about it.
Sage can also leverage that opportunity. We'll be looking at some type of town hall meeting where both policy makers, decision makers, all the stakeholders in secondary school education will have to have honest discussions about how the future will play out.
That will be one. You see, but I'm always wary of a town hall where people discuss and go. So it will be one strategy for this core group that I'm talking about. A core group that could call yourselves forefront or for leaders or front runners in the issue of collective support to secondary
what a town hall or a forum helps you do, you expose yourself and like minds that have also working in different small silos, not small, working in their silos are able to see that, oh, other people are also thinking the same challenge you are facing, the same solutions and best practices. So you're able to coalesce and become a group.
So what I'm
Yes.
suggesting is that coalescing, that group, because which would benefit from discussions like the town hall, but would also be a reservoir of the documented lessons learned.
Lessons
Yes.
learned, yeah.
For instance, the MOU you have is a lesson learned, which any other group wanting to do it for their school can look at.
It can serve as a template.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
they
there's
don't
this
have
core
to-
group resident, the name can be anything, but so that others can look and find a way to be able to reach you and say, how did you do this? What was your own MOU? We recognize that every school is different.
Yes.
Localities are different. But however, there are bound to be commonalities
that's good.
Yes.
that can, catalyze
I agree
action.
with you. As you
Yeah.
know, he said it's not an event, it's a process. It's a
Yeah.
journey towards the future that we've embarked on and other people have embarked in different ways. So as these things happen, you find out that people are beginning to come together. The core group, of course, will share lessons learned, and others, both experts, people have done it in some other climes, will come together, and that core team will come as a resource base for others who might want to move in that direction. But clearly, as you know, you can't go far if you do not have the support of government, because government must realize that's where the future is going to. And so beyond just the MOU, you're also going to look for a policy environment that supports this type of thing. Okay? You're also going to look for a legislative instrument that also provides the level of funding and legal environment to do this type of thing and move into a future that guarantees what we're looking for, a knowledge-driven society.
Usually I end the show by asking for a few last words. I think Eke has given his. That is an excellent look at it. So I'm going to turn to both of you and say a few last words to our audience. Also, he's talked about an instrument, and so on, that will talk about the future. What about you? Any few last words on this issue?
I am particularly focused on GSSA, and I can't thank the governor of Ebonyi State enough for his support, for all that has happened to the school. But we have to get it done for the benefit of Ebonyi State, the country, and mankind.
Great. We agree with you.
From me?
To the president, of course. We cannot end without some words from you.
I just my closing remarks will be to thank Sage for this opportunity. I think Sage has a role to play. What you have done is to bring to the fore for other old boys associations to see
Yes.
that an alumni association goes beyond
Meetings.
networking
Meetings.
for social purposes,
Absolutely.
that it could assume a very productive stance in the affairs of the institutions. And so for that, I thank you.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate that. And very much, because it gives us sense to what we do, which is essentially why this platform exists. It is to showcase beautiful examples like this one we have witnessed today. And we're also people of action. And we on the stage are promising that if indeed some of these brilliant lessons we've learned and brilliant ideas we've come together ever come to pass, and you find, as I call you people pioneers in this effort, that core group comes into being, and there are more people from different institutions trying to come together and move this forward as a way that is vital for our country, that we on the Sage will support you.
Thank
We
you.
will provide you a forum to come discuss it. Proud in thinking and believing that we are collectively empowering and strengthening our secondary school education in this country, and therefore strengthening our country. We thank you all for having been with us. We thank our guests in a very special way. Thank you. We've enjoyed every minute of it. And do stay with us next week as we again deal with another very interesting topic. Thank you. All the best.